Welcome to Your Life Story, a space to explore the journey from survival to authenticity. I'm Sajine, and here we dive into the raw truths of breaking free from the expectations we've grown up with, rediscovering our voices, and thriving after life challenges. But this isn't just about my story. It's about life, from relationships and self-discovery to the messy, beautiful questions we all face. No topic is off limits here, so if you're ready to embrace courage, healing, and living life on your own terms, you're in the right place. Let's connect. Let's grow. Welcome to the journey. Before we dive in, a quick disclaimer. This podcast is for informational and inspirational purposes only. I'm not a licensed therapist, counselor, or medical professional, and the content shared here is based on personal experiences and insights. If you're facing significant challenges, please seek the support of a qualified professional. Remember, your journey is unique, and you deserve the care and guidance that's right for you. Well, I just want to thank you all for joining me today. I think I have decided that we're all on a great journey here and we're here to be together. And it's time that we supported each other, but also know that we can do this. We're going to make it. And I think it's important to let you know that this is my safe zone and you are more than welcome to be here. Why? Because you're beautiful souls. This is our space, a place where masks come off, where silence is broken, and where healing is not just possible, it is promised. If you're listening today, know that this is your sanctuary, a safe corner of the world where you don't have to shrink, where you don't have to pretend where your story matters. I want to start by saying this: you belong here, exactly as you are. My journey has been anything but easy. I married someone who was toxic in my life. I was told lies growing up, that I had to be the sweet, innocent girl, that I shouldn't step on anyone's toes, that silence was safer than truth. I grew up thinking my worth was in how well I could stay small. But I'm done being small, and I believe you are too. You know, I've discussed this in my other posts and even podcasts, but I believe it's always important to reiterate what hurt us and me and what we can do to make life better. You know, as a child, I was told so many lies. I was told to be small, not take up too much room, basically be a fly on the wall. Be very quiet. How many times in school were we told to be quiet? In church, at home. I get it. There's boundaries in life. But when you were trying to express your feelings, wants, anything in this life, we were always told to be quiet, right? The old adage, children are to be seen and not heard. I had to be obedient, not to question. Obedience was one of the things I was taught early on. Why? Because I had to be obedient. I had to be small and quiet, not question. Because that made me the good little girl that someday I would be chosen and I would have a good life. As long as I was always small, quiet, obedient, didn't question anything, then I would have a wonderful life. I'm telling you, that is a big lie. Why? Because if we do all that stuff, then when do we get to be ourselves? When do we get to be our true, authentic selves? The dreams that we have. I had dreams of becoming an astronaut, an architect, working for the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, a designer, race car driver. Yeah, can you believe it? Many things. I enjoyed many things, and I had no idea that those were male-dominated areas, but I didn't see it that way. I thought every human had a chance to be heard and to be able to show what they were made of. Even in marriage, I was told to be obedient. Why? Because the man knew better than me. Now I know that that wasn't it. The Bible doesn't say that. Yes, it goes in a hierarchy. But you know what? The man was never there to treat us like we were a servant. We were there to be together and work together. They were there to protect us, just as much as women are there to protect their offspring. But if you work in unison, you become the best marriage, strong one that you can be. The non-questioning, that even happens at work, where I'm told just to do, don't question. If you question, you get looked at like you are the enemy. If you question God, heaven forbid you question God, because then you were told that you were being a horrible person. But you know what? I'm made in the image of God. And if I'm made in the image of God, I don't think God was made to be small and quiet. Think about it. And to me, to transition into a toxic marriage, how it drained me, isolated me, and made me doubt myself. How many of you are there or were there? How dare they just drain you? It's horrible. No wonder you're tired. And then when you take a nap, they came at you thinking like, how dare you're so lazy? And you're thinking, well, last time I checked, children are really, they're clean, they're fed, they're well dressed, they are, their homework is done, the house is clean, the food is ready all the time. Even gardening. I was even gardening. Even when I was pregnant, I was gardening. Yeah, what did I have to do? I'd have to sit on the ground and work on my side so that way my child would not be hurt. But I had to clean there too. I even had to shovel the snow. And, I didn't see it that way because I've always been that person who's always strong. But you know what? My spouse should have said, hey, you know what? I know you are a strong, independent woman, but you know what? I'm here to help too. This is just not a one-man show or a woman show, right? And so let's do this. I was isolated. I couldn't have friends. They were always evil. And I had to doubt myself, the way that I felt, or the things that I thought. I've always was told, hey, you're not right. You should always have your man be happy. And I'm thinking, well, when does a woman get to be happy? There was a time that I had to leave a high control church, and how that added layers of guilt, fear, and confusion, but also freedom once I began to reclaim myself. The amount of pressure I had, the things that they made me feel guilty, and now I know that the guilt was there and the fear and the confusion, so they kept me in one place. And I read the Bible more. I understand God more now than when I was going to church. Why? Because everything was regurgitated to us. And so you thought, oh, well, if they know better than me, then they have my back. But no, they didn't have your back. All they wanted was your money. And all we got told is, oh, well, you know what? You give money to the Lord, and if the person takes the money or anybody does anything, don't worry, because God will bring justice. How easy was that? to just, wipe your hands, say you have no right to question anything. You just do what we tell you, because if not, you will not be able to help people get to God. And then if you can't get people to God, then you won't be able to go to heaven. Oh, brutal. And I'm glad I am not there, because I get to know who the real God is and what he wants from me in life. You're no longer living for others' approval. You're now living authentically. And that is something important, because we sacrifice so much for others. And I believe it's the way that we're taught, starting from, preschool and up, that we are there for others, that we need to outperform. We need to basically be the biggest circus act, for others, or else you just don't get to be a special person. It's not okay. Everybody, even people in the circus, have a special place, and everybody needs to be respected. But the amount of disrespect in this world is terrible. And I don't think that's okay. I think it's time for us to be able to keep moving forward. It is so precious of a time that we get. We need to start asking for respect, boundaries, and be able to live a great, authentic life. I realized that the bravest thing I could ever do was stop apologizing for existing. And that's the journey we're on together in this safe zone. We're no longer going to apologize for existing. We have so much right to be alive and living. So why don't we heal together? We're just not surviving. We're healing, reclaiming, and thriving. It's time to start putting in healthy boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries has saved my mental and emotional health. Why? Because now I can say no when other times I would have said yes. And then I would have been overtaxed with so many things. My anxiety would have been through the roof. And then now I have to recuperate after the fact. I tell people when things are not right or when they've done something wrong, I actually will say just no. That's not what I want. I want this. And I think it's important, because I think we've been taught that there's even a hierarchy within individuals or whatever they do in life. And that's not okay. I believe everybody is the same. The difference is that everybody has decided different amounts of responsibilities. And that doesn't mean that they're better than us. I think it's something that we need to start talking about. Boundaries has helped me mentally so I can feel better. Emotional health, learning about emotional intelligence, because people, if they know that you are not well trained in your emotions, they know that that's the one weak spot they have that they will try to control no matter what. So it's time to tighten that up, and let's get better with our mentality and our emotions. Another thing, community. This podcast is a collective healing journey. I came up with this podcast because I wanted to heal myself, but at the same time, help others heal. Because there were so many times I would have wished there would have been somebody who would have been there listening to me, even just to listen and let me know that I was being heard. And I would have loved that. So that's why I've made this place where you can come and listen. And maybe it's similar or the same, but I think it's important that there's people there. You can add, messages onto my podcast. I would love to answer you back. There's others that would be on here too. Maybe we can help all of ourselves. Why? Because I believe that if we're all together, then we can come out even stronger, because it's important. Of course, we all respect our beliefs, because why? This is your life journey. But at the same time, there's so many things that we can take and leave and help each other. You know, I want to encourage you. Your past does not define you. Your voice is not too much. And your healing doesn't have to be lonely. You know, so many times people were trying to define who I was in the past. And when they found out that I was somebody who was stronger and braver, they actually walked away. They were scared to be near me, or they were just upset that I didn't stay on the ground helpless. Then I tell everybody, your voice is not too much. You have every right to exist in this life. Why? Because we're here. Let's be here. And your healing doesn't, like I said, doesn't have to be lonely and, insignificant. We're here to be together. Why? Because I think that's what is the best thing. Yeah, we can do it on our own. But how much easier would it be if we're there to be together? So I have come up with some practical healing practices. I think it's important that we start doing this for ourselves. Journal prompts. Remember in the past I said it's great to get a journal. It's great to write out your feelings. It's great to try to clarify the things that we have that are holding us back and, step forward. And we're going to try this little by little. We're not just going to jump. If you can jump, I applaud you. But if you can only take one small step, let's take that small step together. I think it's important to keep moving forward. So let me try this one. First journal prompt. What lies were you told about who you had to be? Let's say that again. What lies were you told about who you had to be? Write it down. Expand on that. What were you told that you had to be? I was told I had to be a sweet, beautiful, strong housewife. That was just not my family. That was everywhere. Number 2, what part of yourself did you have to silence to feel loved? What part of yourself did you have to silence to feel loved? I had to silence my strong intellectual self. I was told that I was stubborn because I had great questions and I wanted answers. 3, where in your life do you still feel small? And what would it look like to expand? Where in your life do you still feel small? And what would it look like to expand? I still have areas and I'm glad and I'm working them slowly. But I feel like my career, I'm kept small. And I would like to expand. And I'm taking small steps there. What does freedom feel like to you? Oh my gosh. I hear different songs about our freedom. And I think maybe others are free, but I'm not because of my circumstances still. But if I could have freedom, oh my goodness, I don't even know how I would feel. It's been so many decades of not having freedom. What first step would you do? I think I'd start doing cartwheels and laughing, and people would think I was like off my rocker, because they'd be like, why is she so happy? I don't know. I think I would find that little girl who was silenced and give her a hug. Who do you become when you are fully authentic? Who do you become when you are authentic? Oh man, I think it'd be the best thing in my life. I'd get to be me finally. I wouldn't have to hide that little girl, because that's what it becomes. It becomes your little girl who had to hide. And now you have to find that special, great person you are and embrace her. Or if you are part of my male listeners, that great little kid that gets to be a great guy. I'm not going to, say anything about genders, because I believe this type of situation can happen to both sides. But the reason why I say it more on the female side is because I'm female. I'm not here to say it's the men or the women who are evil. No, remember, it is about personality issues. Number 2, body and soul practices. Oh my goodness, this is great things because I think it's important. Your body and soul practices. Exercise, gentle movement, walking, stretching, yoga, not punishment, but embodiment. Moving because you love your body, not because you hate it. 2, food, nourishment, not restriction, eating in ways that fuel clarity, energy, and love for yourself. 3, mind, meditation, breath work, and affirmations. For example, I'm allowed to take up space. 4, your soul, connecting with nature, prayer, meditation, music, or anything creative that will help you. I want you to take that for your body and soul, all that stuff, because we're going in deep to healing, and I think it's great. So let's do this. I'm going to give you a guide for a mini grounding exercise. Ready? Breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 6. Go ahead and repeat that as much as you need to make yourself feel better. Imagine stepping fully into your safe zone, your body relaxed, your heart open. And repeat this. I am not small. I am not silent. I am free. I am me. I want to encourage you that this safe zone where you can do these practices daily, whether it's journaling, walking, meditating, or listening to this podcast, it's time to heal and make ourselves feel better. I think the best thing you can do is it's time to journal everything that has hurt you or speak it to someone safe. Then you can find steps to doing things better, whether it's your boundaries, whether it is taking a community that will help you, listening to podcasts, doing your journal prompts, taking care of your body internally, externally, with your soul and your mind, with exercises, food, vitamins. Your mind deserves rest, meditation, breath work, affirmations. And remember, you're allowed to take up space. Your soul, the connecting with nature or prayer, your God, meditations, music, or creativity, anything that brings you that peace. I think it's great to be able to have that in your life, that you can do that to make yourself feel better. I want you guys to know that you guys are very important to me. Very. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for daring to step into this safe zone with your whole heart. This is just the beginning of our journey together. Every episode, we're going to peel back another layer, tell more truths, and step more fully into freedom. If today resonated with you, share this episode with someone who also needs a safe space. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. We are healing together. Until next time, be bold, be authentic, and most of all, be you.